afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the committee sessions of the legislature. We'll start out with the Pledge of Allegiance, of course, and I'll ask Minority Leader Abrahams to lead us.
All rise and please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Legislator Millet, you want to introduce someone?
Thank you, Howard. Yes, I would just like to introduce, I have 4 interns, one's missing at the moment, but 4 interns from the Baldwin Public Schools. This is part of their school program. They come twice a week for an hour or so, and they're learning about all the legislative process, and I think it's very exciting that this is part of their actual education. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
Well, of course, and welcome all of you. Okay, we'll start out with the Rules Committee, and we'll start out, as is customary, with contracts. I am going to ask the clerk to call the roll, please.
Thank you. Rules Committee roll call. Legislator Sheila Bino. Yes. Legislator Delia DeRiggi-Whitten. Yes. Ranking Member Kavan Abrahams. Here. Legislator Laura Schaefer. Yes. Legislator John Giuffre. Here. Legislator Denise Ford. Here. Chairman Howard Copel.
I'm here.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll start out with the contracts, as I said, and I'm going to call them in order, all of them, and we'll have comment, if any, on these items at the end of the Rules Committee, which will be a little bit later. Okay, we'll start out with A6, A33, and A39 of 23, respectively, between the Commission of Shared Services and 3M Company, Asset Works, and Diltex. B21, B25, 26, B29, and B31. Which are contracts between the County Executive and Wellsbach, Electrocorp, Bove Industries, Inc., and Pratt Industries, Inc. E117, E121, E122, E123, 124, 125, 126, 127, 128, 129, 130, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 136, 137 and 138, which are personal services agreement between the County Executive and, again, respectively, Anthony D. Perry, Long Island University, Greenberg Traurig, LLP, Wilson Elser, Moskowitz, Edelman and Dicker, LLP, Milber, Macris, Plusatis and Seiden, LLP, LAH Law Firm, PLLC, M&J Engineering, LK McLean Associates, Nassau County Bar Association, Triad Group, Excel Reporting, NP Engineering, Architecture and Land Surveying, Lyro Engineers, NV5, Conway Farrell, Curtin and Kelly, Gannett Fleming Engineers and Architects, Rosenberg, Calica and Bernie LLP. And motion on those items will be made by Legislator Abrahams and seconded by Legislator DeRiggi-Whitten. Okay, and finally I'm going to call, before we do anything, is E75, and that motion is made by Legislator Ford and seconded by Legislator Bino. And now that's with a resolution to award and execute a contract with Nassau and County of Nassau and Metamorphic Concerts. Now I'm going to take a motion to table made by Legislator Schaefer and seconded by Legislator Giuffre. Sorry, I said table, it's untable, a little bit different. That motion, as I said, was made by Legislator Schaefer and seconded by Legislator Giuffre. All those in favor of untabling that motion, that item, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that item is untabled and is now on our agenda as well. All right, we'll start out with A39, which is between the Police Department and Diltex, Inc.
Good afternoon, William Field, Inspector with the Police Department. Item A-39, 2023 is to authorize and award a purchase order for Veeam software. The software would back up the machines in our IT environment, protecting it from possible ransom locks and other attacks. It also provides long-term data retention and on-site recovery. The lowest responsible bidder was Diltex, Inc., and the total amount authorized under this purchase order is $119,966.27.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Our next item is E75, which is a resolution authorizing execution of a personal service agreement between the County of Nassau and the Parks Department and Metamorphic Concerts. Anyone here on that? Parks? Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Darcy Bellier, Parks Commissioner. Presenting a personal service agreement with Metamorphic Concerts, LLC. Parks conducted an RFP seeking entertainment promoters and booking agents. 9 proposals were received and evaluated. Metamorphic is one of 6 proposers to be awarded, as some vendors specialize in genres that others do not. This contract will be used to book acts for Parks Concerts events. The term of this agreement is for 3 years, commencing June 13th, 2023, and shall terminate on June 12, 2026, with the option to renew for 2 one-year periods. The presentation of this agreement was delayed after the initial filing, thus the tabling, due to clarifications needed regarding the county's contract terms regarding insurance requirements. Payments on this contract will not exceed $400,000 per year, with the total potential value of the contract not to exceed $2 million if both renewal options are exercised. Funding for this contract will be from the Hotel Motel Tax Grant Fund.
Okay, Legislator Ford.
Good afternoon. Okay. With this, so how many promoters do we have currently working to provide entertainment services to the county?
So this will be our 6th, and 2 are expiring. And as a result of the RFP, I'll be bringing it before the board in January 2 more.
At a total cost, so they're $400,000 a year, correct?
Correct. I have 2 at 400, 2 at 100, and 2 at 150. Actually, I'm sorry. This is the 5th of 6. I have 1 more due to come to you.
And so we're spending over $1 million.
No. That's the maximum amount that we could spend. Certain vendors have certain connections with certain agents in different genres of music. So I was very limited with the 2 contracts that we had as far as what we could book and how far out we could reach for certain types of music. This just gives us more options. But I'm nowhere near anticipating spending that much money every year.
Okay, because that comes from the hotel motel tax,
Correct.
right?
Right.
Okay.
Which dictates how much we can spend as well.
All right, so then it's already written into with the hotel motel. Like, you just can't spend all of the hotel. Not that you would. But
Correct.
I mean, you just can't conceivably.
I would like the ability to spend up to that amount, but the advisement will only be for what we're actually spending.
Okay, so we have 5 different promoters that would provide different type of music venues.
Exactly.
Correct? Like you might have country music or rock or whatever.
Right.
Type of thing.
Like one person specializes in big band and doo-wop, for example. You know, but this one in particular, we can get the larger acts through.
Okay, and that's why you had 30,000 people at one of the concerts, correct?
Correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Thank you. Hi, good day,
Hi.
Commissioner. So along the lines of questioning by my colleague here, Legislator Ford, so there's 5 or 6 different entities that are doing this type of recruiting for us.
Correct.
So what is the, so we know that this is 400,000 per year.
Maximum.
Maximum.
Right, but I'll only do the advisement for what we're actually going to spend.
Okay. So could you provide a tally on what those 5 or 6 at maximum would be annually?
It depends on what the hotel motel receipts are, and this year we were just under 600,000 in total.
And so of the 600,000, we used how much of that towards this type of
No,
activity?
we spent just under $600,000 this year.
Total on all of this?
Yeah,
time,
right.
Between the 5 or 6?
And that includes talent for Feliz Navidad, for our senior birthdays every month, our senior series on Wednesdays at noon. You know, the entire 82 events that we have came into just under 600,000 this year.
Okay, and this money is not being supplemented in any
No.
way other
No,
than
I don't
hotel,
have,
motel only?
I don't have the ability to do it in any other way.
And you said this group. Tell me about the different groups. What kind of genres they're hitting?
It varies, and you'll be happy to hear I had a meeting on Thursday with Brian Rosenberg, who only booked a couple acts for us this year. But I actually specifically asked him about soca and freestyle after some of our conversations. So Brian Rosenberg's one of them. And then Metamorphic is very capable to get our larger acts, both country, rock. We got Boys to Men through them, for example.
Okay, and so this was tabled some time ago, right?
Right, because I had taken a wing and a prayer that I had filed it as she was going to sign it, and then the main person behind this company, her name is Randy, she pulled back and said, I can't move forward with this. I have some questions about the language. So I had to wait for the county attorney's office to work through that with her, with regard to insurance.
Okay, so this is all hotel motel, no ARPA money, no
Correct.
other money.
I don't have the
We'll fund
ability to
this.
use ARPA for these
All right.
contracts.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else? Legislator DeRugi Whitten.
Hi, Darcy. So with the hotel motel, you're saying this is taking up almost 600,000, correct?
Correct.
What is the total amount approximately that the county gets in for hotel motel?
It varies on the annual receipts, and Parks only gets a percentage of that. I'd have to go to OMB
Okay.
to give you more insight on that. There's a whole formula to the hotel motel tax receipts.
Because I know that we each get a certain amount, so
Correct.
that does not, because when you said we were almost up to
Different
600,
allocation,
it's a
different
okay,
allocation, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? That's it. Okay,
Thank you.
next, thank you, Darcy. Next would be 117, E117, and that is a personal services agreement between the county Department of Consumer Affairs and Anthony D. Perry. Push the button, the red button.
Got it.
There you go.
Thank you. My name is Mary Harkins. I'm a deputy county attorney, and I'm assigned to the Department of Consumer Affairs. We're seeking to amend the contract with hearing officer Judge Perry. We wanted to increase the number of hearings per year to 80. Previously, it was less than 80. This was due to a backlog from COVID, which we're still working through in different ways. So it was a 5-year contract. We're in the last year of the contract. We're seeking a maximum of $22,000, but we wanted to encumber $11,000 for this calendar year. The contract runs June to June.
Okay, anyone have any questions on this item? No, well, thank you.
Okay, push the button.
Push the button. You're getting good at this. Okay, next is 121, which is personal services between the Department of Health and Long Island University.
Good afternoon, Ann D. Simone, Health Department. Item E121-23 is a new contract with the Center for Community Inclusion at Long Island University. It's a sole source provider for the New York State Department of Health, Children and Youth with Special Health Care Needs program ages 0 to 21. The goal is to support children and families with timely and appropriate information and referrals to insurance, health services, community resources to address their individual needs. It's a 5-year contract in the amount of $443,001. It's 100% grant funded.
Any questions? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
The next two items are budget items. First is 129. Andy, you there? 129, which is a personal service agreement between the Nassau County Offices of Management and Budget and the Nassau County Bar Association, assigned counsel defender plan.
Good afternoon, Chris Nolan from the Office of Management and Budget. Item 12923 is an amendment with the Nassau County Bar Association assigned counsel defender program. Effectively, it's just increasing the amount of the contract by $30,000 to $552,000.
Okay. The increase is due to?
Some newly incurred courier service expenses.
All right, and this is not grant funded, is it?
No.
Or is it? No. Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you. Next is 130.
Yes, 130 of 23.
With the LMB and Triad Group.
That's correct. Triad Group LLC is the county's third-party administrator for workers' compensation claims. This amendment, excuse me, seeks to increase the contract limit by $396,000. There's still several years left on the contract. This is for some additional claims that we received in 2022.
All right, any questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next group is with the county attorney, and we'll start out with 122, which is a personal services agreement with Greenberg Traurig.
This is an amendment to a previous contract for a case known as Myers, which alleges bad hiring practices. I'll just use the word bad very generically. Bad hiring practices out of the police department. So Greenberg Traurig is defending the county from that.
Okay, any questions on this? Okay. On E123, which is, I'm sorry, do you have any questions there, Legislator Bono?
Just restate, I'm sorry, what you just said on the record.
Sure, I said that that is a claim that the plaintiff alleges that the police is using bad hiring practices. It's a general terminology. That is just a general term of the lawsuit.
Thank you.
All right, E123 is with Wilson Ulcer Moskowitz, and I'm going to take a motion to table. Motion made by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Bino. All those in favor of tabling E123, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That item is tabled. All right, Ross. All right, similarly with E126, we'll have a motion to table. That motion is made by Legislator Reggie Whitten, seconded by Legislator Giuffre. All in favor of tabling E126, please say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed? Okay, good. E124 is with Milburn, Macris, Plusatis, and Seiden.
Good afternoon, legislators. Brian Libber from the County Attorney's Office. This is for a contract case known as Sherman-Kerner. There was a mini bid performed for this matter. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer the same.
Any questions? Okay. E125 is with LAH Law Firm.
E125 also is a personal injury case which was mini bid and awarded pursuant to that mini bid process.
All right. Anything? Okay, 136 with Conway, Farrell, Curtin, and Kelly.
E136, once again, is a contract for a personal injury case known as Peralta. It was mini bid, and Conway, Kelly, Curtin won the bid, and we are asking the legislature to award that contract.
Okay. Sure. Legislator Dirigi Whitten.
What does mini bid mean? Does that mean, how do you do that procurement?
Sure. So the procurement rules, to my understanding, and Robert Cleary would be the expert on that. I'm really hardly an expert at all. My understanding is that pursuant to personal services contracts, the county attorney can establish a list of proposed vendors, a list of qualified vendors, and then when we need services, we do a mini bid rather than a full-on RFP procurement, which is a longer and more drawn-out process. So we do seek from that qualified panel proposers and their proposed solutions to that, including their budget. And those are rated by a committee of people who is kept anonymous from the vendors. And then we decide based on that who will be getting the award. So it's purely a merit-based selection.
So it's almost like an on-call list.
No, it's not an on-call list. An on-call list, frankly, for me, if you were to award an on-call list, that would be very advantageous because I wouldn't have to come back here each time to ask for a new assignment. But you guys have asked that we do individualized contracts, so we actually do mini bids for each item now as required. So it's just not on-call. I would distinguish it.
I see. Okay, thank you. Looks good.
Okay, anyone else? Okay. And finally, for you, E138, which is with Rosenberg, Calica, and Bernie.
This is for services related to pistol licenses and pistol permits. The legislature may be aware that there was a Supreme Court decision which affected New York State and Nassau County, a very far-reaching decision of which I won't even speak of the implications, but it was far-reaching. Mr. Rosenberg was hired to defend the county from claims arising out of that Supreme Court decision. Mr. Rosenberg's reputation is well known in the litigation field on Long Island.
So what kind of claims are we getting on those?
In this particular matter, there's a particular index number from a particular individual who then also claimed that he was situated similarly to a group of people. In other words, one person then said, oh, also, I have this group that I'll bring along with me. I have a class action now. So that actually is, in fact, what Mr. Rosenberg was defending us from.
What was the claim?
The claim was that the county was not properly issuing the pistol permits. And not being an expert on that, I wouldn't get into the details of what the rightness or wrongness of it was, but it was that it was being done wrong. Again, speaking very generically.
Okay. Any questions? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
See. The next group will be with Public Works. And we'll start out with A06, which is with 3M Company.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works. This contract is for the procurement of 3M signing and sheeting materials for decaling of vehicles, county vehicles, and the purchase of pavement marking. There were two bids. The low bidder was 3M Company for the materials, and they were determined to be the lowest responsible bidder.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, next one is A33. And that was with Asset Works.
Good afternoon. Joe Jacovina, Deputy Commissioner, Information Technology. A33-2023 is to authorize and award a purchase order to Asset Works, Inc. for the maintenance and support of Asset Works AIM software. The software is a work ticket tracking system for DPW. The application is also used by Constituent Affairs and Information Technology. This is a sole source purchase, Asset Works owns the software and is the sole supplier of the software. Only Asset Works can provide upgrades and product support. The term of the agreement is August 1st, 2023 through July 31st, 2024. This rules presentation is late due to the renewal information being sent only to a recently retired DPW employee. Going forward, IT will manage the vendor relationship. The total cost for the maintenance and support is $109,386.64.
Is that the standard scheduled rate, or is it a negotiated rate?
This is a standard rate that they produce, yes.
Okay, thanks. Next, three are with Wellsbach Electric Corp. We'll start with B21.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works, Traffic Engineering. This is a maintenance contract for the maintenance of our existing traffic signals. It is a 3-year contract worth $16,711,600. There's a 2% MBE, WBE attachment into this contract. They were a sole bidder on the project. We did look into the other bidders in contacting the other companies that reviewed the RFP or the bid. It was determined that several of them were too busy for the contract, and others could not handle the scope of the work to maintain our 1,600 traffic signals. We do have one of the largest systems in the country. It's not something that we would trust to a smaller company. You need to have 24-hour, 7-day-a-week, 365 days a year, around-the-clock coverage and immediate response, which is what Wellsbach can maintain.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, next is B26, again Wellsbach.
This is an amendment. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works. This is an amendment to the existing maintenance contract to extend, not to extend, but to add additional funding of $3.4 million to the existing contract to pay claims that are currently outstanding and carry us to the end of the year for December 31st. The original contract was bid, and the dollar amount that was originally allocated to the contract was significantly lower than what the overall contract is. Part of the problem with a maintenance contract is you don't really know exactly how much money you're going to have to spend. Historically, we've spent a certain amount of money every year. Over the years, though, we have more equipment out in addition to traffic signals. There's RRFBs, speed awareness devices, and these items, we put them out in the field, they get hit, and we have to maintain these and replace those. So we do have more equipment than what was originally planned. Additionally, when the contract was originally written and procured, our signal supervisor is no longer with us. She had retired. The new individual was not aware of the contract terms. When we discovered it, we put the amendment together.
Okay, any questions? Okay, and B29, again Wellsbach.
Again, Harold Lutz, Nassau County DPW. This is a contract for maintenance of the traffic management center communication systems, the hardware and software within the IT infrastructure within the TMC, and all of our communication cables and coordination materials and equipment out in the field. This is a federally funded project. We receive 80% reimbursement from the Federal Highway Administration through New York State DOT. This is, again, a 24-hour, 365-day operation. The traffic management center is manned continually, and then our field operations, which is what Wellsbach maintains, is in constant contact with them as well as the department.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Next is B25, which is with Bove Industries.
Good Good afternoon. My name is Thomas George, Deputy Commissioner for DPW. I am here for item B2523. It's a unit price bid contract for construction service for the rehab of Glen Cardis Boulevard Bridge over Meadowbrook State Parkway, which is federally funded.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, thank you. B31 is with Pratt Brothers, Inc.
Item B3123 is a bid contract for construction service for resurfacing, drainage and traffic safety improvements on the Long Beach Road between Timot Avenue and Woodland Drive in the incorporated village of Rockwell Center and the hamlet of South Hempstead.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, E127 is with M&J Engineering.
Item E12723 is a professional service contract for construction management and inspection service for the rehab of Cuttermill Road over Bayview Avenue Bridge over Long Island Railroad, which is federally funded also.
Any questions? E128 is Lewis K. McLean Associates.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works, Traffic Engineering. E12823 is an amendment to an existing on-call traffic contract to add $500,000 to the overall cap and also to extend the contract for a period of 12 months so that they can complete work. Two of the outstanding projects on here are the West Shore Road project, and the other project is the Lido Boulevard Traffic Calming and Safety Study. It is much quicker for us to utilize the existing contract rather than to go through and rebid the design services for a different firm. So we're requesting this amendment.
Legislator Druzy Whitten.
Hi, Harold. I haven't seen you in quite some time. I hope you're feeling better. With Shore Road, and I'm sorry to take this opportunity, but it's a major problem that the road is now flooding quite regularly, like any rainstorm. And it's been noted that one of the outflow pipes might have been covered when someone did a seawall. So I need to get those pipes scoped. Is this going to be covered under this contract?
Yes, we're looking, and that's part of the problem with that particular project. It started out as a traffic calming and safety study and then morphed into a drainage study, and we're examining outfalls for these issues. We had another microburst storm which flooded out and washed out a section of roadway. We're well aware of the issues, and this project has grown, and that's part of the issue with the delay for this project.
Well,
and yes, we are looking into those items.
To be honest, we always knew the drainage was a big part of this project, from day one, because it always used to flood, but now it's flooding on a whole different level. I mean, that was from our first meeting. We were discussing the flooding. So when do you think they'd be able to utilize this contract and do the scoping?
Once the contract is executed, then we can move forward almost immediately, depending on weather. Obviously, if things are frozen, we can't go through the pipe and look at that. But if conditions are permissible weather-wise, we would be out there in the next few months once the contract is executed. Yeah.
I was hoping, well, the contract is...
It's going to take probably a month, right, for us to get this executed. So we would take it from there. And then, like I said, just weather permitting, if there's snow and there's ice and snow and the pipes are, frozen, that's an issue for us. And part of this, too, is also, I believe, our civil group is looking at the individual issue. They had done the initial exploration of the blocked outfall that was, I think, related to a homeowner who had built a retaining wall. Right. So we're we're working with that group as part of this now to coalesce the two projects and put this forward.
Well, anything you can do to do it as quickly as possible. I mean, I don't know how we don't have it on call, like a contract on call that would have covered the scoping personally, because the road is it's deemed by the Department of Transportation as a thoroughfare. It's one of the only 3 ways in and out of Glen Cove. So, you know, when it floods that much on just a regular rainstorm, it's something happened. So we really need to have it addressed as soon as possible.
I understand.
All right, if it's at all possible, I know I've been asking, but if you can keep me advised, because I'm not exaggerating that I get asked that question about once a week.
I understand that, yes.
So if you can let me know when you anticipate to be out there, I would truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I most certainly will.
Legislator Ford.
Thank you, Harold. It is good to see you.
You too,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, so with this contract, so this is a new contract, or is it an existing contract that we're just amending to add money to it?
This was the existing on-call,
Right.
where McLean had been selected to do the study portion of the project. Now we're moving from study to design, and we're amending the contract to add funding to the cap, and then it'll permit us to move forward with the design faster rather than go through the new on-calls, which are in various states of approval.
So then for Lido Boulevard, we're looking at this point then, a design, you're gonna end up coming up with a design for Lido Boulevard based on the study, which then can be presented to the public?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's from Point Lookout essentially to the city of Long Beach.
Right,
border.
Maple,
Yep.
right, Maple. Do you have any idea, like, how long this would take for the design, or, I mean, is it general? I know you really can't say, because it's like, you don't know what they're looking at, and
Well, no,
what
we
needs to be done.
have,
Yeah.
a portion of the study. We're estimating it's a 12-month design effort, and it, obviously, when we go to the public meeting, and depending on the outcome of the public meeting, that can determine if there are additional issues that need to be addressed, or that the public is concerned about or wants to be addressed, or maybe they hate the idea
Right.
and we have to go back, but it's unlikely. I think we're sensitive to what that community has looked for over the years, and we have worked with LK McLean and they've worked in that area in the past, so they're well aware of the concerns. of the
So you'll
community.
have a public meeting in a not too distant future, right? It's not the
Yes.
12th, okay, perfect.
Yes, after we're approved, and then we can move forward with the scoping of the issue.
Approved, and once the scoping is finished, then we could do a public, right?
Yes.
I'm just asking for a friend. All right,
I
thank you.
understand. Yes.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. E131 is with Excel reporting. Karen, you need any help with the spelling on that? You're good. Anyone here for that? Yes.
Hello, John Parakis, Department of Public Works in the Planning Division. Item E13123 is professional services contract for verbatim and recording services for the Nassau County Planning Commission meetings and public hearings. There was only one proposal received, and Excel Reporting Incorporated was selected. The committee found that the proposal to represent a fair fee for the proposed services, and that Excel's staff and experience provide the best value to the county. This is a one-year contract with an option to renew under the same terms for 3 additional years. The maximum contract amount per year is $30,000 for a total of $120,000 for the 4-year duration. Current encumbrance is $30,000 for the first year, starting August 16th, 2023 through August 15th, 2024. This contract is funded by Operating Budget Code PWGEN 0175. This encumbrance is for 1 year, amount of $30,000. WBE participation is 100%.
Any questions? Okay, thank you. The next two are with Nelson and Pope, engineers and surveyors. 132.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works. E-13223 is an amendment to the existing on-call contract with Nelson and Pope. There is essentially it's a time extension. There's no additional funding into the cap. This is to permit us to complete 3 projects that we currently have ongoing to take from the traffic study portion and move forward into the design portion. The projects are the Nassau Boulevard Traffic Safety Improvement Project, the Belmar Avenue Traffic Safety Improvement Project, and the roundabout at the intersection of Quaker Meeting House Road and Round Swamp Road.
Is that a new roundabout?
It will be a new roundabout, yes. With the intersection there, if you're familiar with it, it's outside of Bethpage State Park, and there's a cemetery next to it. The intersection has had problems over the years. It's a little bit confusing to some drivers, and we've also had issues more recently since Farmingdale has become such a popular destination. We've had some issues late at night with drivers driving straight through the intersection and into the homes over on Thomas Powell Boulevard. So the roundabout itself was really the best idea to handle the capacity of that roadway, not change the overall nature of the area, and also to calm traffic, obviously, was our first consideration.
We could use a bunch of more roundabouts, I think, in Nassau.
Yeah.
If we can get this one, this is this to me is really a great project for the county, and it's a prime location for it, and it's something that the village is very excited about, and we are as well.
Legislator Ford and I were just talking about one at Hewlett, at the confluence of all those 4 or 5 streets there. Yeah.
The streets are great, but the railroad tracks there make it very difficult because we have no control over the queuing back over the railroad tracks. So that would be something that we would have to consider there.
Yeah. Okay, 133.
Yes.
When you do, I know the area that you're talking about by Round Swamp Road and everything like that. When you do the roundabouts, do you also then incorporate like lighting as well, or is it just?
The lighting itself on county roadways is controlled by the local municipality.
Okay.
So it's not something that we're looking at.
Yeah.
For us, it's going to be realignment of the roadways, pavement markings, advanced signage for the roundabout. Okay. Currently now, you go there and you just have some standard warning signs that there's an intersection ahead. You can make custom signs, but people at 1:30 in the morning and even at 1:30 in the afternoon just don't seem to pay attention to stuff like that. Here, you're completely changing the driving environment with the roundabout, with the signage, and with the pavement markings. They are very well marked. So it's something that, and you have to slow down when you enter it. It's not something you're going to just go flying through the middle of it and create a problem. So
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.
same here. Thank you.
All right, so 133, please.
13323 is also with Nelson and Pope. This is an amendment to our existing pedestrian safety action plan. This project has been delayed through the pandemic. We were unable to collect any data through the pandemic period. During that, after the pandemic, we realized that there was an issue with the original contract and that there was a payment schedule in there. The Comptroller's Office had picked up and asked us to work with Nelson and Pope to amend the contract so they could be paid by their multiplier and their approved billing rates. With that being said, we're also dealing with New York State DOT local programs, who has had some back and forth with the grant itself. Not in jeopardy of losing the grant, it's just a philosophical difference with a particular project manager, which we have worked through. So now that we know that we've worked through our issues, we need the amendment to get Nelson and Pope back on this so we can move this project forward. And this is countywide. There's about 110 or 115 unprotected crosswalks within the county that we're analyzing and investigating.
Mr. Ritchie Whitten?
That's a good project. Just so I understand, when you say you basically already have a contract and you're kind of renewing it, like how does that work time-wise? Like we still have to wait for the contract to be instituted or something?
In order for us to pay them, yes. There's no additional funding in this request. This is just an extension of time because of the lapse in time to get through the issues with New York State DOT, through the issues of having to stop work during the pandemic, and then waiting for the amendment to have them work and not pay them, knowing that all these issues were going on. It didn't make sense for us to move forward with the project.
But with these other contracts that you were up here for, including the one with Shore Road, you already have the contract in place and you're coming for us to add to it. But so why does it take so long to have you have the ability to work with it?
It's a difficult process to go through. The amendment process is just very time consuming. Some of it is on us. Some of it is on the vendors themselves with maintaining their vendor portal information, and then items get bounced back and forth, and the system might reject an invoice, and then that kind of sets you back a little bit to go through. This one, though, this is not an on-call contract. This is an existing contract that was an open competitive bid originally going back to 2020. So it's not an extension of an existing on-call. This is just an extension of time so that we can now work and then modify the agreement so that we could pay them.
All right, thank you.
All right. 134 is with
Howard.
Legislator Giuffre. Sure.
Oh, there we go. Mr. Lutz, you mentioned crosswalks. I have a particular interest in lighted crosswalks. What's the approximate cost of converting an ordinary crosswalk into a lighted crosswalk?
Are you talking about in-ground lighting or just overhead, or are you talking
the
about
flashing, the rapid flashing beacons?
You're looking in the area about $30,000 to $40,000 typically.
Okay. All right.
And again, it depends on the existing availability of power. We have some where we have to use solar because there is no available power connection. But with solar, there is an analysis required because we need to know that we have enough sunlight to keep the unit charged throughout the season, especially this time of year. The days are shorter. You get 2 weeks of clouds, and now we don't have something that works, so we have to make sure that we can install something like that there.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. 134 is with Lyro Engineers. So I see we have a tag team here instead of Ken usually handles all of them, right?
Thomas George from Nassau County DPW for item E134-23. This is a professional service contract for construction management and inspection service for resurfacing the travel lanes and shoulders on Wanta Avenue from Sunrise Highway to Hempstead Turnpike.
Questions? Okay, thank you. 135 is with NV5 New York. Anyone? NV5 New York? I guess I'll come back to that one. Okay, we got it.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works. Item E13523 is the extension of time for an existing on-call contract. This will permit us to complete the Rockaway Avenue, Rockaway Parkway traffic study, not traffic study, but to go from the traffic study portion to the design portion.
Rockaway where?
Rockaway Parkway. This is through like in the vicinity of Wheeler Avenue all the way down across Sunrise, basically up to Peninsula Boulevard. So it's a longer stretch of roadway where we did a traffic calming and safety study under the initial on-call, and then we want to move forward with design, and it makes sense, the most sense, to utilize the same and consulting engineers since they did a good job with the contract.
Wheeler Avenue is?
Wheeler Avenue is an adjacent school. It just we're actually just
what
north.
is the neighborhood? I'm sorry.
Valley Stream.
Valley Stream.
Yes.
So you're going from the 4th Precinct Station up to Sunrise?
We're going past Sunrise. We're starting at Peninsula, and we continue past Sunrise. So it's Rockaway Avenue, Rockaway Turnpike Parkway. Not Rockaway Parkway, sorry. The roadway changes names
Yeah.
over the course of it.
Yeah, okay. Okay, questions? Okay, the last contract is with Gannett Fleming Engineers and Architects.
Good afternoon, Joseph Amerigo, Department of Public Works. This is an on-call contract, an on-call construction management contract for the building construction group. The cap of the contract is $1 million, term 3 years.
Any questions? Okay. Okay, so before we vote on this, any public comment on these contracts? All right, hearing none. All in favor of 839, 75, 117, 121, 129, 122, 123, and 126, 124, 125, 136, 138, 6, A6, 33, B21, 26, 29, B25, 31, E, 127, 128, 131, 132, 133, 134, 135, 137. All those in favor of these items so indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Those items are... And 130, okay, all, thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Those items are unanimous. I'll now put the Rules Committee into recess, and next is Public Safety.
Okay. Good afternoon. At this time, I will call the Public Safety Committee to order, and I will ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, Madam. Legislator Debbie Muley. Legislator Sheila Bino. Ranking Member Delia DeRicci Witten. Legislator Gian Gregorio Michael.
Here.
Legislator Mazi Philippe. Thank you. Vice Chairman Thomas McKevitt. Chairwoman Denise Ford. We have a quorum, ma'am.
Sorry about that, and thank you very much. Okay, we have a quorum, and there are 4 items on the agenda today, which are clerk item numbers 331-23, 332-23, 333-23, and 334-23. Clerk item numbers 331-23, 332-23, and 333-23 are ordinances supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Office of Emergency Management. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator DeRicci Witten, seconded by Legislator Bino. The items are before us. Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Thomas Delaney, Office of Emergency Management. I'd like to just discuss 332-23 first, because the other two have similarities, make it easier to discuss. So 332-23 is our emergency management performance grant. It's awarded to us non-competitively through FEMA, passed through New York State. We use it primarily to offset the salary fringe expenses for the office, but also for travel expenses that can't be covered by our other grants. There is a 50% cost match on this one, and we've been getting this now every year for many years.
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm sure that you do have to travel for different events and different seminars and everything to be updated onto everything, correct?
Correct, and some of the travel is covered by our other Homeland Security grants, and we have to use this grant to backfill for others.
All right, any Legislator Millay?
Hi. Does this grant go up in cost over the years, or has it stayed flat?
been going down a little bit, unfortunately, just like everything else.
Okay, so has,
It's gone down probably from when I started, maybe being around 510,000 to this year, 496.
okay, have you been able to find funding in other places to make up for the loss?
Not really, no. There are very few of these types of grants available. Again, we use this to pay for our salaries and fringe in the office, or offset. It doesn't cover the whole cost. No.
Right, right.
So,
Okay, thank you. So in other words, the extra money just comes from the county budget. Is that correct?
well, yes, and we have a cost match that, does come from the county's budget, yes. It has to. It's an in-kind.
Right. Okay, thank you.
All right. The other two are our State Homeland Security Grant Program, that's 33123, and our Urban Area Security Initiative, 33323, called SHIP and UASI. Our total SHIP allocation for this year is $1,038,973. This is split between several departments that are involved in recovery operations, which include our ME's office, our Health Department, Department of Public Works, along with OEM. We also use this to fund salaries within the office for employees that are 100% grant funded. There's no cost match on this one. Similarly, our UASI grant, this year it was for $2,800,365. That is divvied up a little bit with our law enforcement agencies because we have to put 35% to law enforcement. So to that, corrections, fire marshal, PD, and OEM share the funding on this grant. And we also, again, use it to pay for salaries for 100% grant funded employees in the office. No cost match on this one.
Okay, so the total amount that you receive aren't necessarily just utilized solely for OEM, as you had indicated that you have to share it with, whether or not it's the Nassau County Police Department or the medical examiner, so forth, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
Any questions? Anybody? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Okay, any public comment? Okay, all those in favor of passing these items, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, these items pass unanimously. So we're now calling clerk item number 334-23, which is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the district attorney. May I have a motion? Moved by legislator Georgie Whitten, seconded by legislator Millay. The item is before us. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman, legislators. Dennis McDermott, Assistant District Attorney. Number 33423 is an ordinance that encompasses two supplemental appropriations. The first is a $10,000 grant from the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services for the Burn JAG, which goes towards funding for technologically improving programs. In this case, it's going to be used to help the cryptocurrency investigations. It's going to be supplemental software to software that they use now to enable them to go further into tracking various crypto scenes. The second is from the New York State Office of Victim Services. It is for $1,355,884.41. It's used primarily to fund the crime victim advocates. And I think when we were here for the resolution to approve accepting it, Legislator McKevitt, you asked for this newer, and I said it's now for current, but before the grant, which I believe was started in 2018, there were 3 crime victim advocates. Now there's 21. And it's used for fringes and salaries of the crime victim advocates.
So currently there's 21 crime.
There are now 21 crime victim advocates, yes.
In the DA's office?
Correct. That's separate, that the county
Yeah.
has their own crime
Right, we
victim
have our
advocates.
own, yeah. Well, obviously, they're much needed, you know.
They are, and the ones in the district attorney's office are after criminal charges have been filed. The county CVAs, they handle ones where there's been no charges.
Correct. I understand. And just having worked with our own unit, our own crime victim unit on an issue, you know, I'm amazed at the work that these advocates do and what comfort and relief that they can bring to many of these victims. So I can only imagine, and this is pre-crime ones. Yours is after. So, wow, I'm impressed. Thank you. Anyone else? And I just want to correct on the record that this is item number 334-23. So I just want to make sure we have everything correct. Nothing? Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
All those in favor of moving this item, please signify by saying aye. Okay. Opposed? The item passes unanimously. Okay. Okay, may I have a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Legislator Philip, seconded by Legislator Giuffre. All those in favor? Okay, the rules are suspended. There are two items on the addendum. Clerk, item number 342-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the probation department. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator McKevitt, seconded by Legislator Philip. The item is before us. Who is here? All right, thank you.
Joe Shalero, Nassau County Probation Fiscal Officer. The two programs covered under this supplemental appropriation are the Stop DWI program. The item appropriates approximately $237,000 in funds. DWIs represent about 45% of all probation cases. The second is the Reentry Task Force. It's a pass-through grant administered by Nassau County Probation that serves offenders returning to Nassau County after release from the New York State prison system.
Okay, and
Any questions?
with your reentry program, does it also work with other programs as well, or is this the sole program that we use for those who are entering, you know, from
It's a
entering
New York,
into
it's a
society?
New York State program. It's a New York State
Yeah.
pass-through.
Okay.
So it funnels through us, but New York State sets the parameters on it, and it's administered through an outside vendor, Leadership Training Institute.
Okay, all right. Anyone else? No? Okay, go ahead, Legislator Bino.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi. So this is a reentry program, and this is for individuals who are actually convicted, or?
Correct. They've been convicted. They've been sentenced to incarceration as opposed to probation. This is they enter in reentry into the population through this program upon release from the prison system.
And so there's no reentry program that that the probation department would have at all for folks outside of that realm, right?
Not outside of that program.
And there's no program, as you understand it, at the county, either in the DA's office or?
Not to my knowledge, no. Okay. And like I said, this is a pass-through. This is a pass-through program. So probation really we're in the middle of it, but we do not have anything to do with the program, directing the program. The parameters are set by the state. The funding is set by the state. Okay. But it passes through.
Do you have any data you could share with us in regards to?
As far as, let's see what we have. Not specific data. Services include enhanced case management, transportation, family reunification services, emergency housing, provision of personal necessities, that type of thing. I don't have specific data in terms of individuals who pass through the program, though.
Would you be able to provide that?
We could find, I can locate it.
I think it would be something useful for this body.
Actually,
to review.
I do have some data here in terms of case conferences. This was in October 1, 2022 to September 30th, 2023. This is actually from October through July of 23. Performance year to date was 115 case conferences, 92 intakes, 92 service coordination. Service coordination began, 92 individuals, 74 completed. That's what I can tell you in terms of the data that I was provided with prior to walking over here today.
I think one of the benchmarks for me in terms of how successful the program is would be, through the period of time to which they're in case management and going through the program, whether they reoffend or they're successful in reintegrating into the public. So that's the kind of data I would like to see.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
I just have a few follow-up questions then, too. So the Leadership Institute is the agency that does this reentry
Correct.
program? All right, and are they based here in Nassau County?
Yes, Hempstead.
Okay, in Hempstead, okay. And they solely just work with individuals in Nassau County, or do they also provide services
To my knowledge, it's Nassau County.
Just, okay, and do you know, offhand, do you know how many employees they have there?
On this focused on this
Yeah.
particular grant, I believe it is looks like 3 full-time employees, and then and about not a part-time employee, but somebody who's got part-time focus on that.
And I'm also interested with recidivism to see how many people, are we helping people to get on a better track rather than to keep going back, and I guess even with their schooling and the possibility of getting some type of jobs, or maybe put them through workforce development so that they could get jobs that they can make money or whatever.
Right.
And do they also follow up, like, do they provide any mental health type of services there as well, or is this
I
strictly?
believe they do an assessment, an individual assessment on each individual that comes through, and determine what services need to be provided.
Oh, okay, because I'm sure that they could suffer, from depression or whatever, so. Okay, all right, if you can get the information requested by Legislator Bino.
Okay.
I think that would be great. All right, anyone else? All right, thank you very much. All right. All right, all those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Opposed, this item passes unanimously. Okay, clerk item number 356-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the police department. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Millet, seconded by Legislator Bino. The item is before us. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, William Field, Inspector with the Police Department. Item 356-23 is several supplemental appropriations. The first one is to appropriate $865,000 from the United States Department of Treasury. The second one is to appropriate $50,000 in funds received from the District Attorney's Office as a result of money seized under New York State forfeiture law. The third is $400,000 in funds received as of successful forfeiture actions for the misdemeanor forfeiture funds. The next one is a supplemental appropriation of $2,383,070 from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security as part of our Port Security Grant Program. After that is the 2023 GIVE Initiative Grant, which is the Gun-Involved Violence Elimination Grant. This is to appropriate $550,000 in funds from New York State Department of Criminal Justice. And the last one is a grant for our live scan acquisition project. This is to assist the department in purchasing new fingerprint machines and devices.
Any questions? Legislator Bino.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good day. I have a couple of questions. First, let's start with the state forfeiture funds. That comes from specifically some kind of split from the state as it relates to all police agencies within the state, or is it specific to whatever, seizing that we did?
My understanding is that there is a breakdown. I don't know the breakdown. We get a specific amount from the district attorney's office. We could I could try to find out what that is and get back to you.
That would be great. And also, same would apply for the 865 that comes from the U.S. Treasury.
That's a federal forfeiture.
Okay.
So that comes from the United States Department of Treasury based on investigations that the police department has assisted and participated in. I could.
So it correlates with our seizures, or does it correlate with the size of our police department? Like, how is that allocated to us?
I believe this isn't a grant. This would be
Specifically
more
for seizures.
It would be more
Direct.
for police involvement that we had in an investigation.
And we investigate crimes that, or participate in these investigations that are regional. That
Involve multiple agencies
Multiple
outside
agencies.
outside the county.
Yep. In so much that we even have some assets that assist with JFK and some of the work that we do there. We have dogs that are there and all that other stuff. Is that correct?
Not specific areas. I'm not 100% sure where, but we're always involved in interagency participation and task force and things of that nature.
Okay. If you could get back to us about that state number.
The DA one?
Yeah.
Yes, no problem.
I'd appreciate it.
Welcome.
And honestly, I think a little more information for this body in general would be helpful regarding the U.S. Department of Treasury. Just so that we have I think a good handle on what exactly, how this money comes in. I think I have an understanding on where it's spent. Through the years, I've been able to see its use and benefit and purpose. I just would like to know a little bit more about what it's connected to.
The breakdown.
The
Okay.
breakdown. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Any public comment? All right, thank you very much. All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Okay, this item passes unanimously. Okay. There's no other business in front of this committee. May I have a motion to adjourn? Adjourn. Moved by Legislator McKevitt, seconded by Legislator Billup. All those in favor? Okay. The committee is now adjourned. Thank you. Planning is next. This time I will call the Planning, Development, and Environment Committee to order, and I will ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Thank you, Madam. Legislator Arnold Drucker, Legislator Sheila Bino, Ranking Member Carrie A. Solage.
Here.
Legislator Denise Ford. Legislator John Frey. Vice Chairman Thomas McKevitt. Chairwoman Laura Schaefer. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Okay, there's one item on the agenda today. It's clerk item number 336-23. Clerk item number 336-23 is an ordinance making certain determinations pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act regarding a lease of a portion of the property designated as a part of Section 7, Block 259, Lot 3, located on Stratford South in Roslyn Heights, New York, to RH 361 LLC, and authorizing the county executive of the County of Nassau to execute said lease and all pertinent documents in connection therewith. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Bino. This item is before us.
Nick Sarandis, Deputy County Attorney. This is a piece of property owned by the county that's partially used by the Stratford South Pump Station. There's another portion of the property that's not currently used for necessary for the pump station purposes, which adjoins a shopping center which was recently purchased by the party requesting this. The proposal was to rent a small portion of the property, like I said, not utilized for county purposes, to the shopping center under the terms and provisions, lease of approximately $10,000 per year, with increases, 2% increases over a period of time, and proper insurance and indemnification of the county, some landscaping to make sure that the property is aesthetic to the residents, and it meets with the appraisal requirements and as to the value of the property.
Okay.
And that's before you.
Thank you. And the appraisal determined the rental amount, is that right?
Yes, the appraisal was a rental, obviously DPW, because of the potential that eventually it might be needed for county purposes, doesn't want to sell the property, but if the county were to desire to sell the property in the future, the lease provide that the current tenant would have a right of to match the price or whatever, so that they would get the property. It's a very small portion of property, and I think it's about 10 or 12 parking spaces for the for expansion of the shopping center.
Thank you. Any legislators have any questions? Okay. Is there any public comments on this item? There being none, all those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Okay, the item passes unanimously. And may I have a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Drucker. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Okay. The rules are suspended, so there's one item on the agenda. It's clerk item number 343-23, which is a resolution to authorize the release of the surety bond and escrow deposit covering improvements on the map of Oakwood Landing situated in Oceanside, town of Hempstead, county of Nassau, New York. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator Giuffre. Okay. This item is before us. Hello.
Hi, John Parakis, Nassau County Department of Public Works and Planning Division. The applicant, Harold Road Realty LLC, is requesting the release of a surety bond in the amount of $138,790.65, and a cash escrow in the amount of $6,354.35 for all public improvements secured under the bond for the subdivision known as Map of Oakwood Landing, located in Oceanside, town of Hempstead. All bonded public improvements were determined to be completed and deemed in compliance with all applicable codes and standards according to DPW Chief Subdivision Inspector. In a duly noticed public hearing held on October 26, 23, Planning Commission recommended that the legislature release the bond and escrow in the amount stated above.
Thank you. Any comments from the legislators on this item? Okay, is there any public comment on this item? There being none, all those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. There's no other business in front of this committee, so can I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Legislator Ford, seconded by Legislator McKevitt. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The committee is now adjourned. Public Works is next.
Thank you. At this time, I'll call Public Works Committee to order. I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Thank you, sir. Legislator Carrier Solage. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Ranking Member Sheila Bino. Legislator James Kennedy. Legislator Laura Schaefer.
Here.
Vice Chairman John Giuffre. Chairman C. William Gaylor III.
Present.
We have a quorum, sir.
Thank you. There are 4 items on the agenda today, which are clerk items number 323-23, 324-23, 328-23, and 335-23. Clerk item number 323-23 is an ordinance to adopt the capital budget for the County of Nassau for the first year of the 4-year capital plan to commence on January 1st, 2024.
pursuant to the provisions of Section 310 of the County Government Law of Nassau County. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Giuffre, seconded by Legislator Bino. The item's before us. Do we have somebody from the administration to talk about this item? Yep. Okay, no.
Hi, Chris Yancic, Nassau County Department of Public Works.
Got it. Thank you very much. Is there any other public debate or comment? Any debate or discussion from legislators? Yeah, we're just going to move this along, tee it up.
So, the minority is joining the majority in teeing this up as we continue to review the items for full ledge.
Okay, very good. So all in favor signify by saying aye. None opposed, the item passes unanimously. And the clerk item 32423, a resolution to adopt a 4-year capital plan for the County of Nassau to commence on January 1st, 2024, pursuant to the provisions of Section 310 of the County Government Law of Nassau County. Minority still in the same position. We're teeing it up? No, I didn't make a motion. Okay. But I will for you. Can I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Salages. Items before us. I understand we're just going to pass this along again.
Same comment applies to this item.
Thank you. So this, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? No, the item passes unanimously. All right, the third item on the calendar today is clerk item number 32823, a resolution authorizing the County of Nassau to participate in a transportation project providing for the restriping of various county roads under capital project H62I53-015, PIN number 0761.69, and authorizing the county executive of the County of Nassau to execute the agreement on behalf of the county with the New York State Department of Transportation for the advancement of said aid for transportation projects in Nassau County. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Kennedy, seconded by Legislator Drucker. Thank you. The item is before us. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. Harold Lutz, Nassau County Department of Public Works. 328-23 allows the county executive to sign and execute the agreement with New York State Department of Transportation so that we can receive federal funds for our pavement marking Phase 15 project. Without the approval of the master agreement, we cannot receive the federal funding. It is approximately $4 million contract. Once we bid it, 80% of that is reimbursable by the state of New York and FHWA. It's approximately 80 miles of roadway that will be restriping completely from curb to curb.
Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz. Clerk item number 335-23 is an ordinance supplemental to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Museums. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Bino. Thank you. The item is before us. Commissioner.
Good afternoon again, Darcy Bellier, Parks Commissioner. The department's requesting approval of a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $1,683,500. These funds represent the annual amount of fees anticipated to be collected at the county shooting range and the Mitchell Park Athletic Complex track and field programs. The U.S. Department of Interior has directed the county to segregate any fees collected by the Mitchell Athletic Complex to be in a dedicated fund for the use for recreational purposes. There is no net impact on the budget since they will recognize an equal amount of revenue and expenses.
All right. Just out of curiosity, who collects more, the pistol range or the soccer fields, athletic fields?
It's hang on. I could guess, but I'll tell you facts. Rent of county property, $189,000. Rifle range fees, $777,500. So actually a close mix because the athletic field charges $480. So it's almost half and half.
Okay, interesting. Any debate or discussion? Legislator Bino.
Thank you. Hi, Commissioner.
Hi.
So we take in a certain amount of revenue, and we're saying we spend an equal amount of?
Exactly. Because part of the arrangement for the county to hold that property with the Department of Interior is that we fund a separate account, which is an operating account. So out of there is paid some salaries. Hold on. Salaries, wages, fringe benefits, equipment, and some contractual services.
So do we reinvest in that park at all?
Do we invest in that park? We do.
Reinvest. Is there an operating budget that actually not everything goes through capital, where we're just doing some level of?
No. So that whole property is all out of this fund, except for capital improvements separate. That's to the capital borrow.
Okay. I think this is the one park that I may have in my district. It's not utilized as a regular park, but I'd like to see how we might be able to allow community to use that park a little more often.
I've been trying to use the admin building. The Youth Bureau has been using it. Minority Affairs, Asian American Affairs has been using the admin building meeting space. But I'm open to any ideas you may have.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I've been real deliberate in trying to get to every single, asset of the county. I would tell you, I've never been here.
So let me know. I'll meet you there.
Yeah,
give you a private tour.
I would like that.
Okay.
All right. Very good. Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you. Hi. Good afternoon. You mentioned that there was a need for a segregation of, funds. Why is that the case? Was there ever an incident of any sort of misappropriation that led to some sort of notice by, that source that there should be a segregation of funding?
No, it was part of the original agreement between the county and the Department of the Interior, which is federally owned property. One of the mandates of the agreement.
But before there was no segregation of funding.
No, there has been. This is an annual request.
Okay.
But it has to be approved by all of you.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think that relationship with the Department of Interior goes back to when all of Mitchell Field was owned by the federal government. The airfield was there.
Correct.
I used to go to the commissary there with my dad all the time.
Still open. Still functions.
All right. Any public comment?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The item passes unanimously. There's no other business before this committee, so may I have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Legislator Schaefer, seconded by Legislator Kennedy. Thank you, sir. Thank you. All those in favor? All right, the committee's now adjourned. Health is next. The Health Committee will follow this committee.
Thank you. Good afternoon. At this time, I will call Health and Social Services Committee to order. I will ask the clerk to call the call.
Thank you, Madam. Legislator Joshua Lafazan is excused. Legislator Arnold Drucker. Ranking Member Delia Durigi-Witten. Legislator C. William Gaylor III.
Present.
Legislator Michael Giangregorio. Legislator John Giuffre. Chairwoman Mazi Polip.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. There is one item on the agenda today, which is clerk item number 337-23. Clerk item number 337-23 is an ordinance supplemental to an appropriation ordinance in connection with social services. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Gaylor, second by Legislator Durigi-Witten. The item is before us. Anybody from the administration? Go ahead. Hi.
Good afternoon, Andy Persko, Office of Management and Budget. The item before you is two supplemental appropriation. First one is for $2,830,556. It's for retroactive wages. Part of the grant will be, the funds for some of the CSEA will be funded through that, and that's what this the 2.8 million is for. The other, and it's for the programs for SNAP, HEAP, and a couple of Medicaid programs that we have over in DSS that are fully funded for the positions. The 28,597,572 is just the annual appropriation for the regular day-to-day business for the subsequent year. So it's for the same programs: SNAP, HEAP, Medicaid, and a few other things that are in there. So.
Thank you. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? The item passed unanimously.
Thank you.
May I have a motion to suspend the rules? Moved by Legislator Guerrero, second by Legislator Trucker. All in favor? The rules are suspended. There is one item on the addendum, Clerk, item number 341-23 is an ordinance supplement to the annual appropriation ordinance in connection with the Department of Human Services. May I have a motion? Moved by Legislator Gaylor, second by Legislator Reggie Whitten. The item is before us. Anybody, I guess, from the administration?
Good afternoon, legislators. Seema Zaki, I'm the Fiscal Director for Department of Human Services. Item number 341-23, there are multiple appropriations which are for the mandated programs, which are 100% state and federally funded. The first appropriation is for $23,466,200. This is for the calendar year 2024, and the programs that provide the funding that provides for the programs is medically supervised outpatient programs, gambling and prevention, opioid programs, and it also includes funding to the school districts. The second appropriation, which is again for funding received from Oasis, New York State, for the fiscal year 2024, is for the treatment of methadone maintenance treatment for the clinic that is run in Building K by the county. And the third item is for $4,427,935. This is the funding received from Office of Mental Health for the calendar year 2024. The program provides wide range of mental health and chemical dependency clinic treatment programs for kids. The fourth item is again for the calendar year 2024, received from New York State Office of Mental Health for $16,259,005. These programs will be for the adult individuals for mental health illnesses and chemical dependency disorders. The fifth item, the last one, is a cost of living increase for 2023. Again, the funding is received from Office of Mental Health for the calendar year 2023 for $286,102.
Thank you. Any debate or discussion? Any public comment? All those in favor of passing this item, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? None. The item passed unanimously. There is no other businesses in front of this committee. You may have a motion to adjourn. Moved by Legislator Guerrero, second by Legislator Reggie Whitten. All those in favor? The committee is now adjourned. And finance is next.
this is it for you.
The Finance Committee will come to order. Mr. Pulitzer, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, sir. Legislator Joshua Lafazan is excused. Legislator Carrier Solage.
Here.
Ranking Member Arnold Drucker. Thank you. Legislator Mazi Palip. Legislator Thomas McKevitt. Legislator James Kennedy. Chairman Howard Copel.
I'm here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. We'll start out with a motion to suspend the rules. That motion is made by Mr. Kennedy and seconded by Mr. Drucker. All those in favor of suspending the rule, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The rules are suspended. We'll proceed now with the consent calendar. These are all items that have gone through previous committee, and the majority and minority have agreed that there's no further debate or discussion required. Those items are 323, 324, 328, 331, 332, 333, 334, 335, 336, 337, 338, and on the addendum, I'm told that 338 is not on the consent calendar, so we'll just take that one out. 341, 342, and 343. Let me see. Yes, okay. All right, a motion on those items is made by, let's see where we're up to here. All right, motion made by Ms. Philippe and seconded by Mr. Solage. All those in favor of those items, please say aye. Any opposed? Those items have passed unanimously. Thank you. Number 325 is provides issuance of warrants directing the treasurer of the county to pay supervisors of various towns and villages deposits for mortgage taxes for the year commencing October 1, 22 through September 30, 23. Motion by Mr. Drucker and seconded by Mr. McKevitt. Any questions on that item? No. All those in favor of 323, please so indicate by saying aye. 325, I'm sorry, aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous, thank you. 338 is a resolution to authorize a transfer of appropriations for the year 2023. And motion by Mr. McKevitt and seconded by Ms. Palip. 338.
Good afternoon, Alyssa Zarabian, Nassau County Department of Health. Item 338-23 contains a board transfer in the amount of $58,203 to maximize grant funding in the STD Disease Intervention Services Grant. Savings in salary and supplies will be utilized to cover additional fringe. The program is 100% grant funded.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Number 341 is an ordinance connection with the Department of Human Services. Motion by Mr. McKevitt, seconded by Mr. Drucker.
Good afternoon, legislators. Simazaki, Department of Human Services. Item number 349-23.
341.
item 341-23 has multiple annual appropriations. These are for Office of Mental Health and Office of Chemical Dependency mandated programs, state mandated programs, 100% backed by the state and federal funding. The first appropriation is for $23,466,200. This is funded by New York State OASIS for the calendar year 2024. This is to provide program and services to medically supervised outpatient programs, gambling prevention, opioid programs, and it also includes funding to all the school districts. The second appropriation is again annual supplemental appropriation.
Wait, we still talking about 341?
Yeah, there are
Okay.
5 items under 341.
Got it. Go on, please.
The second one is for $5,452,475. It's for 2024 calendar year. This is again funding for the methadone maintenance clinic run by the county for the calendar year 2024. The third item is $4,427,935. This is 100% state funded by New York State Office of Mental Health. This program provides mental health and chemical dependency clinic treatment for children. And the fourth item, which is for $16,259,005. This is again for the calendar year 2024 for Office of New York State, funded through Office of Mental Health. These programs and services are provided to adults with mental health illnesses and chemical dependency disorders. And lastly, there is the fifth item under 341 is for $286,102, which is for the calendar year 2023, funded through New York State Office of Mental Health for the cost of living increase of $286,102.
Any questions? Okay, all those in favor of 341, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. 342 is supplemental ordinance with the probation department. Motion by Mr. Solage, seconded by Ms. Philippe. Probation? Anyone? You know what? I'm told that, okay. Never mind. I'm sorry. I'm told this was by consent that we already called this, so you're done. Thank you. Sorry. 344. Department of Parks. That's a motion by Ms. Philippe and seconded by Mr. Solage.
Good afternoon again, Darcy Bellier, Parks Commissioner. 344-23 is designating Nassau County as our own tourism promotion agency in 2024, allowing us to receive grant funds from Empire State Development I Love New York matching grant program to promote tourism in Nassau County. The amount we are to receive for 2024 after this is approved would be $52,514. $52,514. The county match will come from existing funds we currently use for advertising through our contract with the Ed Moore Agency.
Thank you. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. 349.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is transfer of appropriations, and there's a motion by Mr. McKevitt, seconded by Mr. Drucker.
Department of Human Services. Item number 349-23 is a board transfer of $100,000 for the calendar year 2023 from adult into children's grant. These funds will be allocated to the cost of living increase for the children's program agencies.
Okay, any questions? All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Number 350 is a resolution making certain determinations pursuant to SECRA, authorizing the renewal of an option extending the term of a lease between Steel Lowe's 3 Limited Partnership as landlord and the County of Nassau's tenant, in connection with 42,980 rentable square feet at 700 Hicksville Road in Bethpage. Motion by Mr. Kennedy, seconded by Mr. McKevitt.
Good afternoon, legislators. Kevin Walsh, the Office of Real Estate Services. This is an item which is enabling the county to exercise a second renewal option for the county's OEM warehouse lease in Bethpage. This warehouse stores critical emergency equipment for the county, and most recently it also served as a logistics center during the pandemic to store PPE and so forth. The terms, actually it's a time of the essence. The lease doesn't expire to May 31st of next year, but there's a 6-month requirement to give notice, which we'd have to exercise by December 1st. So timing is critical here, so we don't lose this opportunity. The new rental rate is based pursuant to the lease, based on 95% of fair market value, which is, we have an appraisal included in the package, and actually the landlord gave us a little bit less, better than 95% of fair market value. So, any questions?
Any questions? Okay, hearing none. Number 356, all those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed? Okay, that is unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay. There are numbers 329 and 330. Number 356, which is supplemental with the police department, and motion by Ms. Philippe, seconded by Mr. Drucker. Anyone, police? Here we go. I don't think we've got any big issues, I'm told. Do you guys have any issues with this one, no? It should have been on the consent calendar? Okay. In that case, all those in favor of 356, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, thank you. Number 357 is supplemental to modify certain departmental budgets. Motion by Mr. Solage, seconded by Mr. McKevitt.
Good afternoon, Andy Persick, Office of Management and Budget. Item 357 is a quarterly board transfer to realign the budget for 2023. It's a component of many different items. It's a large transfer and supplemental. Includes money for additional police overtime funds, Department of Social Services additional needs in the I would say the SNAP and HEAP programs, early intervention, and the balance is to fund the CSEA agreement that we've just ratified. So I'm here to answer any questions, if you have any.
Do we have any questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Thank you.
Any opposed? That item is unanimous. Numbers 329 and 330, 329 is Mogilski versus County of Nassau. 330 is Nicole Thompson versus County of Nassau, and Henry Kramer. Those are settlements. Motion on those are made by Mr. McKevitt, seconded by Mr. Solage. Motion to go into executive session is made by Mr. McKevitt and seconded by Mr. Solage. All those in favor of executive session on those two items, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We're going into executive session, to which the members of Rules are invited as well. Okay. We're back. Having heard information on an executive session, all those in favor of the settlement set forth in 329 and 330, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. We have one more item in finance, and that would be number 355, which is SECRA determination relevant to the Third Amendment to a lease between County of Nassau and Jamaica Village Owner LLC for property known as 1 State Street, 32nd floor, New York, New York, for use by Nassau County Intercounty for the NICE bus service. Motion is made by Mr. McKevitt, seconded by Mr. Drucker.
Good afternoon again, legislators. Kevin Walsh from the Office of Real Estate Services. This is a extension of an recently expired lease for the Jamaica bus service that's operated by NICE in Jamaica, Queens. This is the bus service station that the county shares along with the MTA. We have about 6 bus bays there. This extension will extend the lease for 9 months with the potential for it to go up through the end of 2024. As this is going on, we're also looking to move to a potential other location in the Jamaica, Queens vicinity, and that lease is under negotiation right now, but this will at least give us time to work through that process. So.
Okay, thank you. Any questions?
Yes, President.
Sure.
Sorry, excuse me.
Sure.
Chair of the committee. Thank you. Excuse me.
We're a little bit advanced of things, right? Maybe a lot.
Good afternoon, sir. Hi.
Good afternoon, legislator.
Hi.
How are
Recently at at a hearing in which the contract for the bus company was passed, a constituent of mine by the name of Ms. Dorsey complained that when she is commuting back from New York City back to Elmont, that she would wait at times over 40 minutes at the Jamaica train station. Does this bus depot, for lack of a better word, does this have to do anything with the poor response times with these buses leaving the Jamaica area? Is anyone here from the NICE Bus Corporation?
I can't speak to that, honestly. I'm not involved in the operations of it, only on the lease aspect of the extension. I do know that we're looking at another alternative location. I don't know if it's late because of its vicinity. Like I said, it's a busy terminal because we use 6 bus bays. My understanding is there's about 18. I think there's another 6 used by the MTA, New York City Transit bus. But
is there anyone here from NICE Bus Corporation that could answer this question?
I don't believe so.
Is there anyone from
DPW?
Yeah, please,
Yeah.
because
Sure.
again, my constituents are suffering because NICE Bus Corporation, which we just passed, a multi-million-dollar corporation for 7 years or 6 years, unfortunately is not providing adequate bus service to my constituency. And Mr. Jack Kazoos promised everything under the sun when he was here, and nothing has been done. And every day since that hearing, the bus has been late 40 minutes every day. Please, is anyone that can speak about this?
With regard to the Jamaica bus terminal.
I'm sorry, I'm going to just introduce. This is Sharon Prasad, Deputy Commissioner of Public Works.
Thank you. With regard to the Jamaica bus terminal, and the timing, that's on an everyday situation. We have no control over that. So even you're mentioning Ms. Dorsey, I believe her name is?
Yes.
Her situation is quite different to anything dealing with the Jamaica real estate we're talking about here.
All right, but aren't the buses coming from that real estate?
Yes, we have 6 lines that come out of that particular property, yes.
Okay, so how could you say that it has nothing to do with that? I mean,
No,
I'm sure it's a factor.
With the Ms. Dorsey piece that you were
Yes.
speaking of, it's 2 different situations.
And what exactly is the situation then, Ms.
Ms.
Perswad?
Dorsey represents a different situation than the buses coming out of Jamaica.
I don't understand. She's waiting at Jamaica, waiting over 40 minutes for a bus from this private company that's not providing adequate service. So, and this depot is a factor in it. So how, again, I just need to understand.
The depot is where we end and begin the trips, but again, it is not a fixed guideway, so a lot of it depends on the roadway. It has really nothing to do with the terminal itself. That's where we end and begin our trips.
Can we
on
please
the
have a
southern
follow-up
section.
meeting? Yes, Ms. Perswad, thank you. I appreciate you. Can we please have a follow-up meeting with my constituents and several other constituents regarding this issue, please? I've asked for this and nothing has happened.
Will do.
Once you get your contract passed, it just crickets. So when can we have this meeting, please?
We will look to schedule something in the next few weeks, if that's okay with you. Would you like us to contact your office directly?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Anyone else? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor of this contract amendment, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Ms. Philippe moves to adjourn. Mr. Kennedy seconds that motion. Anybody? Everyone ready to adjourn? Please say aye. Any opposed to adjourning? Okay, that's unanimous. We're adjourned, and we are back to rules. Kavan left. Okay, Rules Committee back in session. We have a number of consent items. These are items which have gone through previous committees and require no further debate and discussion as per the agreement of the majority-minority. I'm going to call them, and those would be numbers 323, 324, 325, 328, 329, 330, 331, 332, 333, 334, 335, 336, 337, 338, 340. And on the addendum, the first addendum, numbers 341, 342, 343, 344, 349, 350, 355, 356, 357. And on addendum 2, nothing on addendum 2. Okay, all those in favor of those items, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, those items are done unanimously. Let's see, on the addendum, number 339. The motion on that was made by legislator Ford, and I'll second it. And once again, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. Okay. Number 339 is a resolution authorizing execution of an IMA with the Village of Mattinacock in relation to design and construction of a new drainage piping system and directing excess stormwater from Thorn Lane. Motion by legislator Ford, seconded by legislator Schaefer. Yes, go ahead, please.
Good afternoon, legislators. Jane Hodak, Nassau County Department of Public Works. This is an intermunicipal agreement with the Village of Mattinacock to rectify a storm drainage problem. The existing drainage over Thorn Lane it lacks the capacity to handle the storm water that it receives, and so this project will design and fund the construction of a remediation to that drainage situation.
Any questions? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of 345, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, number 3, thank you. 346 is for an IMA with the Belmore Merrick Central High School District with regard to purchasing and installing new bleachers and related items. Motion by Ms. Bino, seconded by Ms. DeRigi Witten. You just sponsored 346. Okay. Anybody on 346? Oh, that's an IMA.
Crystal Wine from the administration. 346 is a legislative CRP item.
CRP item. Yeah. Okay. Any questions? All those in favor of 34? What? Do you have a question? It's a CRP. It's a CRP. Okay. Any questions? All right. All those in favor of 346, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous. 347 is an IMA with Wantagh Free School District in respect to procurement and installation of new security, exterior doors, and related items. Motion by Ms. Ford, seconded by Ms. Bino. That's another CRP item, I believe.
Correct.
Yes. All right. All those in favor of that, 347, please say aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. 348 is resolution appointing Gabriela Castillo to the Sewer and Stormwater Finance Authority. And that motion is made by Ms. DeRigi Witten, seconded by Ms. Schaefer. That's not a CRP item, obviously. Obviously. Okay. Any debate or discussion on this item?
Nope.
No. Okay. All those in favor of this appointment, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that appointment is done unanimously. Now let's see. On addendum number 2. Number 274 is an IMA with Williston Park, the procurement of the Jaws of Life and related items. Mr. Giuffre makes that motion. Ms. Ford seconds that motion. And this is, I believe, another IMA?
Yep.
All right, any debate or discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Number 275, authorizing an IMA with Williston Park, provide funding for the purchase of goods and services. Is this an IMA?
Yep.
It's an IMA again?
Yep.
Okay, any debate or discussion? Okay, and hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We have one more.
We had a motion, so moved by legislator Ford, seconded by legislator Schaefer.
Did we say that?
All those in favor, no.
All those in favor? All right, and we're all in favor. All right, we're all in favor. 345 is our final item. It's a resolution to amend a previous resolution to to designate newspapers for tax liens. Yes.
Good afternoon,
One
David
second,
Chang,
that
County
motion is
Treasurer.
that motion is made by Mr. Giuffre, seconded by Ms. Dirigiwitten. Now you're
Good
up.
afternoon, David Chang here from the County Treasurer's Office. The items before you are for the publication of the annual lien sales, the selection of the newspapers.
Okay, any questions on that? All right, all those in favor of that item, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that's unanimous, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Giuffre wants to go home, and he makes a motion to adjourn. Ms. Schaefer is agreeable to that and seconds it. And all those in favor, please say aye.
All in favor.
All right, any opposed to going home? Okay, we're unanimous.